All right, pre-calculus, here we are for your quiz 2124 review video. And our first alum spotlight goes to Haley Rance, studying at the University of Notre Dame, right there, or Notre Dame University. What's the proper order there, Haley? You can leave that in the comments. Go Irish. All right, chat is still stats, right, Haley? I believe so. That's someone's who's following their footsteps, folks. My goodness. All right, so 1 and 2, state the slope, find the x and the y-intercept, and determine whether the function is increasing, decreasing, or constant. So I'd expect to see one of these. All right, so first off, slope's right there. The slope is 4/5. All right, it's attached to x. Secondly, the y-intercept is a -6. When x is 0, what's y? A -6. Now the slope is positive. Because the slope is positive, the graph's going to go up, so it's increasing. 3 of the 4 answers should be very quick and easy to get. Lastly, what's the x-intercept? The x-intercept is when y is 0. So we say y is equal to this. You can come in. I'm just making a video. Don't worry, you won't be in it. All right, but I appreciate it. All right, I do no editing here, so there you go. This might give me a few more likes. All right, so we set 4x minus, or 4/5 x minus 6 equal to 0. All right, so we add 6 to both sides, multiply both sides by 4/5. 6 times 5 is 30. 30 over 4 gives me 15 over 2 for the x-intercept. Of those 4 things you have to do, that will be the one that takes a little bit more time. All right, on number 2, what is the slope? The slope is negative 2/3. It's staring right at you, negative 2/3. The y-intercept is 8. When x is 0, y is 8. All right, first off, you have a negative slope, so this graph is going down. It's decreasing. All right, constant would be like if you have g of x equals 5. It's constantly 5, that sort of thing. And it would have a slope of 0. All right, it would not have an x-intercept, and the y-intercept would be 5. We had one of those earlier, but I think it was in your homework set, but I'd expect one of these two. Anyway, the x-intercept is when y is 0. We're going to say 0 is equal to negative 2/3 x plus 8. I'm going to subtract 8, multiply by negative 3 over 2. Multiply by negative 3 over 2. A negative times a negative is positive. You got 24 over 2, which is 12. It is 12. Okay, determine whether the function is linear or nonlinear. If it's linear, find its equation. So if it's linear, it's got a consistent slope. All right, just do this a few times. First off, we're going to find the slope formula. We're going to use the slope formula a few times. So 8 minus 3 over 1 minus 0. Difference of y's over difference of x's. You get 5. Let's do 18 minus 8 over 3 minus 1. You get 5. Let's do 33 over 18 over 6 minus 3. 15 over 3, it's 5. Yeah, so this has a consistent slope, and that slope is 5. M is equal to 5 every single time. Now, if m is equal to 5, and I tell you, if I give you the y-intercept is when x is 0. Okay, so y is equal to, remember it starts like this, y equals mx plus b. Okay, so y equals 5x plus b. You don't need to plug 0 in for, we already know, we know it's 3, but we don't know yet. You can plug 0 in for x and get 3 equals b, or you can be like, look, the y-intercept is when x is 0, so the y-intercept is 3. All right, so no consistent slope. Well, let's take a look here. All right, so let's do 7 minus 4 over 1 minus 0. That's 3 over 1, which is 3. Then I'm going to do 6 minus 7 over 2 minus 1. That's negative 1 over 1, which is negative 1. Those aren't equal, so it's not linear. That's it. 2 different slopes. It's not a line. Moving on. All right, find the zeros of each function, this whole page. Let's go. I'm going to take f of x and set it equal to 0. All right, factor time. 1 multiplies 72 and differs by 1. 9 and 8, you have a positive middle term, so it's positive 9 minus 8. Cover up method. X plus 9 is equal to 0. X minus 8 is equal to 0. You get your 2 solutions. This is easy factoring. Easy factoring is when you have a single x squared. All right, so now there's different methods to do all these. So you could use the quadratic formula for number 6. This one does factor. And here's why I can tell it factors. So I do a times c. A times c, 6 times -5 is -30. Well, multiplies to 30 and differs because it's negative by 13. That's going to be 15 and 2. Now, those aren't the factors, but that tells me that it does factor. And if I do a little guess and check, this is how it factors. Again, if you use the quadratic formula on this one, that is fine. In fact, why don't we? Mr. Yacht should be ready for this. I don't care how you solve it, guys. All right, if you want to use the quadratic formula for this, let's go live, new work. Okay, you can say x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Pop goes the weasel, folks. All right. This is 169 plus 120. That's 289. 289 over 12 is square root of 289. Use your calculator. The square root of 289 is 17. All right, so you'd have to continue with this. You'd have to do 13 plus 17 over 12, which is 30 over 12, which is 5 divided by 6. Come on, 5 over 2. And then you have 13 minus 17 over 12. You have a -4 over 12, which is a -1/3. All right, 5 over 2, -1/3, which is what we get there. All right, so knowing how to factor is going to make us a lot quicker. Now, folks, you could distribute if you wanted to and call it x squared minus 6x plus 9, then subtract 5, and then x squared minus 6x plus 9, then minus 4 is plus 5, and yeah, this factors really nicely. I mean, you can do that and then get your solutions of 5 and 1, or you can do the square root method, because this is like an x squared, okay? So you can move 4 over, right? Move 4 over, and then take the square root of both sides. Plus or minus the square root of 4 is plus or minus 2, and that's what x minus 3 is. When you take the square root of something squared, then the square root and the 2 and the square cancel. So x minus 3 is equal to plus or minus 2. That means x minus 3 is a -2, x minus 3 is a +2. And you get your 2 answers. You could FOIL it out and then solve by factoring. That is another method as well. Again, just like I did on number 6, you could use the quadratic formula or you could factor it. Okay, how do you get 9? 3 and 3, or 9 and 1, but 3 and 3. There's only one way to get 1, right? So I would at least try. So you get 3x, which is 6x. So because I have 3x plus 1 twice, just set it equal to 0 one time. I get 3x equals a -1. I get x as a -1/3. That answer one time. Now, again, as I said before, you can do the quadratic equation, which you are going to need for number 9. You're going to need that for number 9. But let's say you're looking at 8. You have 9x squared plus 6x plus 1. We're going to set equal to 0. We're going to say x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. -6 plus or minus 36 minus 36. Nice. What does it mean to add or subtract 0? Just get 0. All right. I mean, when you add, like, nothing changes. All right. So it's -6 over 18, which is -1/3. All right. It's another way to get -1/3, guys. Quadratic formula, you can use it. Sometimes it's not very efficient, though. All right. Number 9. So here's how you know that it won't factor. All right. So the AC method says take A, multiply it by C. 2 times -1 is a -2. So then can you think of two numbers that multiply to 2, and because it's negative, differ by 4? Can you think of two numbers that multiply to 2, because it's negative, differ by 4? No, you can't. That means it can't factor, so don't spend time trying to make it factor. So x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2. Mr. Jack made a boo-boo. All right, Mr. Jack made a boo-boo. So I told you I felt pretty good about catching it in the video. If I made a boo-boo, I don't think you guys told me about this one. All right, so this is still 16 plus, a negative times a negative is a positive. All right, square root of 24, that's 2 root 6. All right, so I can actually only divide it by, well, 2 again. So that gives me that. I can divide it by 2. All right, nice, quick fix. quick fix. All right, so again, first off, you don't want a negative x squared, so multiply everything here by a negative 1, 2x squared minus x minus 1. Again, I'm going to ask myself, all right, so can this factor? I'm going to take 2 times negative 1, that's a times c. 2 times negative 1 is a negative 2. Can I think of two numbers that multiply to 2 and differ by 1? Yeah, that's 2 and 1. All right, it's 2 and 1. It'd be negative 2, positive 1. If I was going to factor it by grouping, which honestly we aren't this year. So because it can factor, I need to try. So first off, how do I get 2x squared? I get 2x squared by multiplying 2x and x. How do I get 1? Well, it's just 1 and 1. So before I put the pluses and the minus, that's 2x and that's x. I need to have a negative x, so this needs to be negative and that needs to be positive. Cover-up method tells me 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. And then x minus 1 is equal to 0. X is negative 1/2. X equals 1. Okay, I don't know. I'd expect 4 of those guys. It seems to be a big part. Now here's just got to solve f of x equals g of x. So you don't actually have to find the point of intersection. No y value involved. Easy peasy. Set f of x equal to g of x. The 4x's cancel. Add 1 to both sides. X squared minus 4 is equal to 0. X is plus or minus 4. X squared is equal to 4. X is plus or minus the square root of 4. X is plus or minus 2. All right. Nice. Now, I highlighted 12 because 12 is one we need to talk about in class. So how do I get x to the 4th? What's x squared and x squared? Well, multiplies the 4 and adds to a negative 5, a negative 4 and a negative 1. So it's not x and x, but it's x squared and x squared. X squared minus 4 is 0. X squared minus 1 is 0. All right. So we're going to say x squared minus 4 is 0. X squared is equal to 4. Take the square root of 4. X is plus or minus 2. Cover method says x squared minus 1 is 0. So x squared is equal to 1. X is plus or minus square root of 1. We get 4 answers. Plus, minus, plus, minus. Let's raise to the 4th power. All right, then we get into u time. All right, you could FOIL this out and then you know, factor it. That's fine. Or you can say, hey, I see this twice. I'm going to let u be what I see twice. That looks a bit odd. U is x minus 3. So now it's u squared minus 2u minus 48. We'll multiply the 48 and differs by 2. Negative 8, positive 6. Negative 8, positive 6. X minus 8, or u minus 8, u plus 6 is equal to 0. Cover-up method is going to say u minus 8 is 0, u equals 8. U plus 6 is equal to 0, u equals negative 6. All right, now what is u? U is x minus 3, so we've got to plug that back in. So x minus 3 is 8, x is 11, x minus 3 is negative 6, x is negative 3. All right. Yeah, I know how to do that. Maybe one like 15 as well. 14 is a little interesting because you're like, what? So this is x to the 1/2 power, and that's x to the 1st. So if I just going to have to kind of memorize this. We'll try another one of these on Monday as well. If I let u be the square root of x, then if u is the square root of x and I square it, then I get u squared. That means u squared is equal to x. So this is going to be 3u squared minus 13u minus 10. Only one way to get 3u, and u, only one way to get, there's more ways to get 10. But if I put a 5 here and a 2 here, I get 15u and 2u, and if I make this negative and that positive, I get that. Remember, you guys did a lot of factoring last year and in Algebra 1, so factoring needs to be something that we now handle well, okay? So I'm going to set this equal to 0. I'm going to set this equal to 0. I get 3u is equal to a negative 2. I get u is a negative 2/3. All right, now remember, though, u is the square root of x. So how can I have the square root of some x be a negative? That can't happen. That's no solution, so that doesn't lead anywhere. But then I have the square root of x is equal to 5. Square both sides. X is 25. All right, again, pause this if you need to. Come back. I can't make a 40-minute video here. So, yeah, I mean, look at this. This is odd. So u is equal to 1 over x. So now I have u squared minus 4u minus 12. What multiplies 12 differs by 4. Negative 6, positive 2. U minus 6, u plus 2 is equal to 0. U equals 6, u equals negative 2. What is u? It's 1 over x. 1 over x is equal to 6. Now, 1 over x is the reciprocal. So that means the reciprocal of x is 6, so x has to be 1 over 6. The reciprocal of x is negative 2, so x has to be a negative 1/2. All right, we're just going to cross multiply. 1 is equal to negative 2x. X isn't equal to negative 1/2. 1 is equal to 6x. X is 1 over 6. Questions are not impossible, folks, but we will need to study a little bit. All right, I'd expect 2 graphs. 16 and 17 are basically the same, so I'd expect one of those, and I'd expect to see 18. All right, so here's what we talked about in class. First off, this is vertex form. Vertex form is y is equal to, some number on the outside, x minus h squared plus k, where the vertex is positive h, comma k. All right, so the vertex is that kind of middle point. So vertex form is nice. You set this equal to 0 and you keep it. That's the y coordinate of the y-intercept. I'm sorry, it's the y coordinate of the vertex. My goodness. So vertex is 2, 2. Vertex is 2, 2. Nice. And because the parabola has symmetry, go 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Now, all you need to do is plug in one of those 2 values and you get the same y value. So I'm going to use the bigger number 3. I'm going to plug 3 in for x. 3 minus 2 squared plus 2. So this is 1 squared plus 2, which is 3. 3 there, 3 there. F of 4. 4 minus 2 squared plus 2. It's 2 squared plus 2. It's 6. All right. 0, 6, 1, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 6. It makes a u because it's a positive x squared. I think we can do this, folks. Let's take a look at 17. All right, still it's vertex form. I said x plus 1 equal to 0. I get negative 1, and that's the y coordinate. That negative 2 just affects the graph, so that's not part of the vertex. The vertex is negative 1, 4. 1 left, 1 to the right, 2 left, 2 to the right. All right, so I'm going to plug in 0, and whatever value I get when I plug in 0, plug 0 in for x. I have 1, I'm going to square it, I'm going to get 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2. So I got a 2 there and a 2 there. Then I'm going to plug 1 in. Plug 1 in for x. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 2 is a negative 8. Negative 8 plus 4 is a negative 4. So those 2 y values are the same. Now this is a negative x squared, so it should make an igloo. Sometimes it looks more like a tent, but that's all right. Negative 3, negative 4. Negative 2, 2. Negative 1, 4. 0, 2. 1, negative 4. There it is. All right. This is not vertex form, so that means we need to find the vertex, which is negative b over 2a. You're going to have to know the x coordinate of the vertex is negative b over 2a. That's not something that's going to be given to us now. So it's the opposite of 4 over 2 times a negative 2, which is negative 4, which is 1. So the x coordinate of the vertex is 1. So what do? You plug 1 in and figure out what the y coordinate is. 1 squared is 1. 1 times negative 2 is a negative 2, plus 4, plus 1, and that's 3. Awesome, so 1, 3. So I go 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 2 to the right, 2 left. All right, now, guys, I know I always say, I like to plug in the bigger of the 2 values. That's true, but come on now. If it's not in vertex form and 0 is a choice, the y-intercept is looking right at you. It's 1. When I plug 0 in for x, I get a y value 1. So, boom, done. Easy peasy. So now I'm going to plug 3 in. If I plug 3 in for x, I get 9. 9 times a negative 2 is a negative 18. I get 4 times 3, which is 12. Plus 1, I get negative 5. Negative 5 there, negative 5 there. That's how my, is a negative x squared. Should make a u or an igloo. I'm sorry, not a u. It should make a igloo, or I guess more of a TP here. Not a u. Igloo time on 18. I'd expect 2 of those. I would expect 2 of those. All right, folks, we are nearing the end here. And the more practice is just more practice. Know those, okay? Determine whether the function has a min or a max and then find it. All right, so the first part is easy. That's a 3x squared. That's a positive. So a positive x squared is a u, and a u has a min. Look at that. It has a minimum value for the vertex. This is a vertex question, so negative b over 2a. It's the opposite of negative 6, which is a positive 6, over 2 times 3. So vertex. You can write what the vertex is, but the minimum or max value is the y value. Okay, so it's going to be 1, and then I need to plug 1 in for x. If I plug 1 in for x, I also get 1. So the minimum value, it's a minimum, and its value is 1. All right, I mean, technically, if you gave me the vertex, if you forgot and you gave me the vertex, I would just underline your y value, and hopefully you're correct. All right, 20. The opposite of b over 2a, it's 4. It's a max because it's a negative x squared. Negative x squared is it's an igloo and it's a max. I'm going to plug 4 in. I'm going to plug 4 in. All right, I get 4 squared, which is 16, times a negative, plus 32 minus 4. That's 12. So the vertex is 412, and the min or max value is always the y value of the vertex. So it's 12. Oh, folks, we are finishing up here, the final lap. You have, again, a negative x squared, so it makes an igloo. An igloo has max, so negative b over 2a. It's the opposite of 12 over 2 times negative 3. That's 2. All right, so when I plug 2 in for x, I get 2 squared, which is 4. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12, plus 24, which puts me at 12, plus 5, which is 17. My vertex is 217, and my maximum value is 17. Okay, so you got more practice. First one, you can factor. Second one, quadratic formula. First off, multiply everything by -1. And then the last one, set them equal to each other and factor. All right, we can do it. We can do it. The quiz, which is, looking at my calendar, next Tuesday. Let's go in 6 days. Prep. This is Yak Math Video signing out.